Hey, what's up, beautiful people? Thank you for joining my channel. I'm the Spiritual Bodybuilder, and I am here to talk today about what astrological transits are consistent with a midlife crisis. So, you know, I believe everybody at some point in their life goes through some kind of crisis where it turns the table and it brings you in a different direction in life. Now, everybody's different. Some people have smoother times going through this transition than others. Usually, whatever your ruling planet is going to be the sort of pinnacle of the midlife crisis you that you have going on. So there are five essentially. A few of those are mixed in together, but here's what I mean. So the first one that happens is your Saturn return, which many people know about that already. This happens between 28 and 30. So this is when you're born, you have Saturn placed in a certain place in your chart, right? Mine is in my sixth house. So when it makes one full rotation around the astrological chart, it comes back to the position where it was when you were born, and that is your Saturn return. Now, when this happens, Saturn represents structure. It represents, how your sense of power and control in your life and the direction, your life purpose, where you want to go. And so if Saturn is your ruling planet, so if you're a Capricorn like me, then this experience is gonna affect you greatly. And that could be your sun, moon, or rising, and you may get a significant response from this. So for me personally, when I was during that time period, for me, I was in Iraq, and it completely changed my life. Growing up until that point, I only knew what I was conditioned to believe, right? I had a lot of my own life experiences, but I was still living very much in ego. And the ego, depending on what happened throughout your life up to that point, the ego, thrives on what it learned, right? And so if we're thriving from fight or flight or survival concepts within ourselves, the Saturn return is going to come through and it's going to call you out on your own bullshit, right? Because we're not meant to live through the ego in our entire life. So we can either fight it or we can go along with it. Okay, so usually during this time, it's saying, okay, the structure of your life is not right. So here, let's get it back on track. And so these are times where your life may seem like it's going to crumble. You may break up with the love of your life, or you may go through a career change, or you may go from being an athlete to getting injured and not being able to work out anymore, or you may go through a life altering illness. Whatever the case is, this trauma, because Saturn is a planet of restriction. It's the planet of mastery. So with the Saturn tests, as I like to call it, these tests are designed to make you master yourself. And we wouldn't master ourselves unless we have to, right? So we can either accept it or we can fight it. And so between 28 and 30, especially if you're a Capricorn, your Saturn return will be your first experience of really getting sort of thrown into the universal winds, so to speak, and put yourself in check. But the more aware you are of this, you can follow the process. Like, okay, is everything going wrong or is everything going right? Because if things are going right and you're following it, you could expand. You can expand and grow dramatically during this time and change your life for the better. You take one business and then you transform it into something else, or you have a relationship, then you have a child, and you become a great parent, and things take off, and you realize, wow, like I really always wanted to be a parent, because you don't know until that happens. So you need to listen to your inner being, to your inner calling during these times, and let it guide you, let it drive you, but that requires trust. Okay. So the next aspect, the next three aspects sort of all happen around the same time. And this will be the Pluto square Pluto, Uranus opposition, and the Neptune square Neptune. Now, when I say that, I mean that the transiting Pluto is now at a square to your natal Pluto, right? Because these transits, they take a long time. And these outer planets that are going on, these are your soul missions, your soul purpose. And they're the deeper, more subconscious aspects of ourselves that we don't really fully understand. We have to grow into understanding them, right? So Pluto is all about power. It's all about sexuality too. Pluto rules Scorpio, right? So if you're a Scorpio, and maybe even a little bit of Aries, because Aries is ruled by Mars, but in ancient astrology, Pluto is sort of the higher octave of Mars. So we have this deep, very unconscious part of ourselves, the stuff that we don't really want to look at, right? That has to do with power. Are we giving our power away? Are we living our power? Are we standing in our own empowerment? And if we're not, man, this one can be tough. This one starts at about age 36 to 42. This one depends a little bit, and you'll have to look at your birth chart, and I can help you do that if you like. But basically, between 36 and 42, you're going to come into a period of time where you're going to have everything that has to do with power struggles, power dynamics, empowerment issues within yourself. Like, are you giving your power away? Are you letting people walk all over you? Or are you too greedy in your power? Are you manipulating people because of your power? Things like that. And if you are, you're going to get called out on it. That's how it goes. So when this hits and all these power things come into play, you could start getting into some serious power struggles. I've seen some people that go through major shifts in business, like business partners start butting heads, and then attorneys get involved and things start to go south. Custody battles or divorces, that's a power struggle in an intimate relationship. And man, those could be the worst. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. I know this from experience, my friends. So be careful. Now, the trick is to learn how to be empowered, but not let it get to your head and take advantage of that power. What do I mean by that? True empowerment is love. It's not like when you want people to get along with you, you have to do it through compassion, forgiveness, and love. If you try to do it through force or through intimidation or through fear tactics, you're going to get your ass handed to you. Okay, like that just is not going to fly, especially during a Pluto square Pluto. And this is going to make it abundantly clear, because when we're not in these times, these things can sort of float underneath the surface, and we don't really see it, because we're, life is moving along and things are going okay. And then when we hit that checkpoint, all these are like checkpoints, right? Are we following our soul's divine path? Or are we being led by ego and, being arrogant, ignorant, or even are we being a pushover, letting people walk all over us? Okay, these are all things that we need to balance out. And one's not better than the other or greater or worse. They're all imbalances. And all we have to do is be true to ourselves and find that balance. And the balance in the world will come when we find the balance within, right? So the next one, the Uranus opposition, that comes into play between 39 and 42. So you could be going through your Pluto square, and then boom, now the Uranus opposition hits and it adds on to the Pluto square. Oh boy. So usually between like 36 and 44, that's when most people sort of, go through this midlife crisis. Now, the Uranus opposition, that's when that middle-aged man divorces his wife, goes and buys a sports car, and starts dating a 21-year-old model, right? Uranus is the planet of higher mind, but it's also unexpected everything. It's Thor's hammer, that that lightning that comes down and strikes, and it comes from nowhere. It's the unexpected energy. So I see a lot of people that they get hit with this bug, like, oh my God, I'm not happy. What the hell am I doing with my life? I need to change. I need to go here. I feel trapped. That feeling trapped is a big feeling when it comes to Uranus opposition, because now all of a sudden you thought that your life was going well, it's going in a good direction, everything's fine. Now all of a sudden it all seems meaningless. It seems like there's no point to it. And when you get to that point, it's like, it's like you get this urge, you need to figure it out. So this is really going to come strong if you're going through the Pluto square and the Uranus opposition together, because now you're not sure why you're feeling this way, and you want to get out there, but you have no idea what to do, no idea where to go, but you know you need to get the fuck out of here, right? You just need to go. And needing to go could make you very impulsive, and those impulsive decisions you could regret later. I'm pretty sure you're gonna want to be careful about that, okay? And especially if you add in the power dynamics, you could have, say you're a man and you get divorced. Now, your ex-wife could want to take you everything that you have, but you just want to be out here having fun, and that responsibility is not going to leave you alone. Okay, so it's really important during these times to really take accountability for your actions, for your thoughts, and there's no right or wrong here. That's not how the universe works. We as human beings have created identities of right and wrong within ourselves according to ethical and moral statutes that we've been taught. This is about being true to you. Are you being true to your heart? And if you're not being true to your heart, it's going to become painfully obvious. And then you're going to go, normally we have to know what we don't want until we figure out what we do want. But when we focus on the feeling, what feels right, one step at a time, and we go forward in that energy, then usually we end up making the right decisions. And if we don't, then it was a decision that we need to learn something from, and we learn that, and we see it for what it is, and then we move forward, okay? So next one will be the Neptune square Neptune. And of course, this is the transiting Neptune that is square to the natal Neptune. This happens right around 40, okay? So smack in the middle of the Uranus opposition. Now here comes a spiritual revolution, because Neptune represents spirituality, our connection to divine. It can also represent addictions and escapism. Okay, so if you take the negative sides of these, escapism with impulsive activity, and then abuse or misuse of power, man, you can go through a whirlwind of hurt. But if you're taking responsibility and accountability for yourself, and you're taking time to make sound, responsible decisions, then it's going to interact with this whole new level or understanding of spirituality. Like, who am I? Why am I here? What am I meant to do on this earth? Where am I going in my life? They're all going to mesh together much more efficiently. Okay, so we need to really pay attention and look at where this is going. I'm at the end of my Pluto. Just kind of started my Uranus opposition and just started my Neptune square Neptune. So, I'm feeling this energy like crazy. And, for a while, I thought I was making the right decisions for me. And I thought I was going in the right direction. But, sometimes we still have to grow and learn in order to be able to really see that. Now I'm able to see it, and I'm able to stand stronger within myself and believe in myself, because all these things that have been happening in my life personally have been to strengthen my resolve and who I am as a man, who I am as an athlete, who I am as a channel for you guys, who I am as a father. Father's a big one, because I didn't have a father growing up, so all these, when I had my daughter, all these things came up about being a father and what fatherhood means and how important it is to be there for my child. And, it's terrifying and loving and all these emotions that, you never really felt before. It takes time and effort and, honesty to be able to really process this kind of stuff. And this is where, a lot of people are going through things like this right now. And going through this right now, it is July of 2019. So we're right in the middle of this Pluto-Saturn conjunction. And that Pluto-Saturn conjunction in and of itself is like a midlife crisis. So it doesn't matter what age you are with that, though. People are, waking up and popping up left and right because that energy is very similar to all these energies that are going on. So if you have all this going on top of that, man, we are going through the biggest transformation of our lives. And it's a good thing. So, but we have to, see it as a good thing. And it's all a matter of perspective, right? Going up to that 5D. So Neptune, is bringing us up to that next spiritual, ascension level. But it's also challenging us. Like, can we stay true and not run away from our fears, from our feelings? Can we connect to divine and not get in our own way and keep ourselves trying to analysis paralysis, trying to figure it out? Is it too much? Is it overwhelming? Are we gonna lose ourselves in some kind of addiction? And addiction can be anything that you do in your life that throws your life out of balance. It can be work, it can be sex, it can be drugs, it can be money, it could be anything, right? Even working out, right? So we have to be really cautious and see, really keep ourselves in check every day going through this. So the next one we have is the Saturn opposition. That happens right about 44. That's a minor one. That's sort of like, after you go through this Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune, that's all bunched together. The Saturn opposition is sort of keeping you in check. Like, all right, did you learn what you need to learn during your Saturn return? By now, with all these other things that have happened, you should have gotten it. You should have learned. But this is interesting. This is the point where you see people go in one of two directions. They either go off to be like an old grumpy asshole, or they grow up to be like a little kid when they're older. Like, oh, I accept myself. I'm fun. I'm happy. I don't care. Right? So that's sort of, that's where we're either going to get lost in our shit or we're going to become free of our shit. And these transits are opportunities to learn that and see it and grow through it. Okay, so Saturn opposition is going to be like another checkpoint. We go through 2 Saturn returns in our lifetime. The Saturn return, in my opinion, is much more palpable than the Saturn opposition, but technically it's there. So, I had to throw that in there. So next we have the Chiron return. Now, Chiron is our deepest wound, and the Chiron return happens between age 50 and 51. And this is really the last significant midlife crisis transit, and it sort of solidifies us into old age, right? Of the type of person that we're going to be. And this is a full Kundalini awakening. Like, whatever you haven't worked through, it's going to come up, your deepest wounds. And, this whole entire process, it's about activating that Kundalini energy. And when your energetic centers are open, boom, we're free. We're free of all our everything that holds us back, of our egotistical nature that has been, self-limiting, and our self-sabotaging behaviors, the 4 survival archetypes that have run our life for all this time. We face it, we work through it one at a time through these different transits. And the Chiron return is like, all right, you're at the finish line here with your work. So where you at? And the deepest wounds, they may come up, and these ones will be pretty nasty. Like, you could have been married to someone for 30 years and your marriage, your significant other dies. Now you have to live the rest of your life alone. What is it supposed to teach you? Right? And it's hard to say that. It's hard to even imagine that. What is this supposed to teach you? Like, fuck you. What do you mean what's that supposed to teach me? Like, this is heart-wrenching. Like, or, maybe you're that age and your child dies, or you're overseas and your legs get blown off. I mean, this is like no joke. Getting cancer, getting autoimmune diseases, all these are blockages of energies that have not come through. And we manifest these things, sometimes really bad, to get us, to see it and understand it. And depending, like, I have a lot of friends that are, like bodybuilders and like competitive athletes that they've been doing it 15, 20 years, and they're like in their mid 40s. One of my friends is on dialysis because his kidneys shut down. Another one of my friends has had 8 surgeries this year, getting carpal tunnel, having issues, and getting a neck fusion, all that kind of stuff. is going to come up. And you know, are you going to just like take, in our society, we're geared towards, you know, like just getting surgery or getting a pill and numbing shit out. And that just makes things worse, like, because it stuffs it down even more, and it's going in the wrong direction. We got to bring it up. We got to let it out. We got to open it up. Open up the tissue, open up our mind, open up our life, open up our identity, open up our willingness to accept things that we may, you know, maybe didn't accept, you know, before in life. And the more we open up, the more we allow ourselves to receive, the more we allow ourselves to be who we really are, the better our life's going to be. That's really the bottom line. All right. So that's all I got for you as far as the midlife crisis transits. If you'd like more information, please comment below. Let me know. If you'd like an astrology reading from me, please go to trainingfitnessastrology.com. And please like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate all you guys supporting me and, you know, watching this channel and you know, working with me to help me grow and learn. This is a learning experience for me too, especially going through all these transits. So I'm so grateful for all you guys' support. You guys have a great day. Much love and blessings. Peace.